Yay, hello. Okay, so I ran across, I'm gonna just dive right in. I've got things to say. Uh, I came across this quote that I've come across before, and I realized that every come across it in the past, I had like nodded along, like, oh yeah, that's wise. And I realized that I don't agree with it anymore. And tell me if you heard this quote. It goes something like, uh, if you're depressed, you're living in the past, and if you're anxious, you're living in the future, and if you're content, you're living in the now. And that may be true in some cases. It's to me, it's a lot like saying Skittles are green. It's to me, it feels like, well, some Skittles are green, but you're ignoring like the whole rainbow of flavors and of this candy, like the whole aspect of this. And so I kind of wanted to talk about what I've experienced is really what anxiety is. It's not just living in the future. It's so oversimplified and right. To me, it comes down to, it all boils down to, do I feel safe? Feeling safe. And it took me a long time to figure this out. I think a lot of people kind of struggle along with anxiety. I think there's a lot of like approaches. It's like it kind of gets attacked at like level two of like the symptoms. Like, okay, well, if you have generalized anxiety, then it's because of this, and if you have social anxiety, it's because of this, and it's from PTSD. It's like we get to the cause like too quickly. You know, the cause can help us figure out what the management style might be, but it doesn't actually get to the heart of the issue, which is, do I feel safe? Because to me, if you have like a safety zone, okay, you have like a safety zone, and it's like your comfort zone, and it can be stretched, right? It can change, right? It can get bigger, and you can feel like my comfort zone is so big. It's so thick. Like I am so comfortable. I've been through so much. Like I am so comfortable with things like that a lot of people aren't comfortable with. And I take it as a source of pride because it means that I can regulate myself and feel safe in situations that had in the past honestly been traumatizing to me. Had I trauma meaning like you didn't have the tools to emotionally, you weren't emotionally equipped to handle what's happening. And if you feel safe, you won't feel anxious. So instead of thinking about how can I solve my anxiety, or like, oh, what thing in the past caused my anxiety, it's so much simpler. It's so much simpler and easier to say, oh, I feel I feel that anxiety. I feel anxious. How can I feel safe? It's so much simpler than all of the others in between of like, this was a problem and that was a and that contributed and that factor, and I have to deal with all. You don't have to deal with all of that because that causes meta anxiety. I'm feeling anxious about my anxiety, right? All you have to do is figure out how to feel safe in that moment. And as you begin to recognize, okay, I feel anxious, so I need to feel safe. When you feel safe, you will start to trust yourself because you took care of yourself. Your nervous system is healing. It's taking you're trusting yourself. It's like this great, life-giving vivacious cycle, as I like to call it. Healing happens naturally. It's our natural state of being. Like if we get hurt, we don't have to say, okay, body, get to work, heal that cut. Let's do this. It happens naturally when we rest it. What do? We cover the wound. We rest. You know, we put ice on our joint or what have you, and we rest it. We don't do anything to cause further pain. And that is exactly what you need to do with your nervous system. Anxiety is a symptom of your nervous system. So we need to rest our nervous systems. We need to go into a space where we feel calm, cool, collected, right? And trust ourselves to do that. Because managing, oh, is this person going to be a toxic person? Oh, is this person going to, try to be abusive? Is this like managing all of that is that, of course, that would give you anxiety. Of course it would. You don't have to manage that. All you have to do is listen inside and give yourself what you need. Now, it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy because what you personally need and what another person needs, that's kind of like a trial and error thing. But once you get it, once you're clicking into place, then you get that self-trust. When you get that self-trust, you get your self-confidence. Confidence is just you being in a certain situation and trusting yourself that you can handle whatever happens. That's confidence. That's all it is. Right? If you're a confident driver, you get into the car and you're like, whatever happens, I can handle it. I know how to drive. That's confidence. So if you want to heal your anxiety, we need to get down to the basics. We need to get down to the fundamentals of how do I feel safe? When do I feel safe? And when you feel safe, you thrive. You release your feminine energy. You start having you're creative. You start having fun because you're not worrying about who thinks what about you and what you're doing wrong and are you safe? You're safe. You're safe. You're right. That was my thought of the day. I hope that was enlightening, helpful, interesting. Thanks for listening. I love doing this. So, okay, I'll see you next time.